vacant appointed positions. And surprise, surprise, I'm still president. How does that happen? Yeah, some people are happy about that. So I don't know, do we have new people here that want to stand up and say, hey, I'm new to wood turning? Yeah? Tell us about yourself.
Hi, I'm Jason. My daughter Abigail's been turning for about 3-4 years.
Okay.
Normally we're up at Traverse City with Pete Meyer at the Northwest wood turn. But we just moved on down to Montague under Stephen, so we decided to come on over here because the route was probably a little less strenuous. Mostly bowls, but pretty much do a little bit of everything.
All right. Cool. Welcome. Anybody else? Yes. Hear that a lot. Okay. All right. Good. Glad to have you. Anybody else? All right. Well, as a member, we have some amenities besides coffee and donuts, which is the most important part, you know.
Good plate.
But we have a raffle table here with some nice things on it. We have a library back there.
Jones.
We need to mute everybody on that. We have a library out there. We have a grinding station if you need to sharpen your tools. We have mentors if you want to get with somebody, meet them at their shop and spend a few hours with them, going over what they do or helping you do what you do. The newsletter lists our mentors. So those are some of the things that are available. Right now, our dues are $35 a year. I think we're the cheapest club in Michigan that I know of. So, so that's a pretty good return for your dollar. Let's see, moving on down. We did just sit down with our board and reestablished our positions. Most of the positions did not change, except for the fact that we had Ron Campbell has resigned from the board. He hasn't resigned from the guild, but he's resigned from the board due to health issues. Probably a lot of people here are familiar with his issues, and we're hoping we'll see him back here at a meeting in the near future. So he resigned. We had a trustee at large, Rich Scripps. Where'd Rich go? I can't see with all the lights in my face, but Rich has moved into the position on the board. So he's on the demonstration committee. Also on the board we have Dave Bungie. He's online. He's our online specialist. He also does a great deal of work with our professional demonstrators. Once we get them on board, Dave hooks everything else up, sends them forms to fill out, so we make sure we know what we want from them, they know what we want, and we all come together at the same time. On the board, I have Gary over here. He's a membership. So if you're interested in joining, stop and see Gary. He can get you set up on that and get you your information so you get our monthly newsletter, which our newsletter has just shows what's coming up at our next meeting, what we did at the last meeting, and it has some information about the mentors and just some other things. The Tom Paniga is not here, but he's our equipment manager. Vice President is Ron Vincent. I think he might be online. He's in Florida right now, so he's our vice president, and then I'm the president. And then treasurer is Pete, wherever Pete's at. Probably behind me too. I can't see him. So Pete's our treasurer. So that's our board for this next 12 months. So if you have any issues or questions about anything with the board, any one of us are happy to help you out with that. You know, everything's above board, and if anybody ever wanted to attend one of our board meetings, we meet by Zoom once a month. You're more than welcome. Let me know. I'll send you a link. If you want to attend the board meeting and be part of what we do, see what we do, whatever. That's all on the open. Ken, you're in the room. Come on up, and we're going to talk about turning for troops. Yeah, make that mic there stand back about a foot or so.
What was this far?
Yeah, that far.
All right, can you hear me okay? Great. I'm Ken Blaine. If you do not know me, I'm around here too much. Yeah, I want to talk about Turning for Troops. I don't know if everybody is aware of the program. It's a Woodcraft corporate-sponsored program to where we usually do a big push around Veterans Day to come in, people volunteer to come in and turn slimline pens. Everything goes back to corporate, and it's distributed among the military. I do not know what their process is, but we're supplying them with the finished pieces, and they take it from there. Well, this is not just a year-end or Veterans Day event. This is something that we want to try to promote throughout the year. Couple things that we're going to be looking for, and we will be trying to set up in-store events more frequently. Also, what I want to do is open up to the turners. If you want to take some pen kits home with you and bring them back, I have everything that you would need set up. You'd be welcome to take home, turn them at your leisure, bring them back, and then I'll file those into the process. So I'll be at the back table there during break if you want to talk about it or want to pick up some stuff to take with you. Be happy to get you set up. So as far as the in-store events go, we may be looking for people to kind of spearhead these things. Okay, it's pretty simple, pretty straightforward. We would have the dates publicized, public comes in, you kind of work with them on showing them what they need to do, how to do it, that type of thing. So we'd probably ask for 2, maybe 3 people for, if we do it for a day. I'm not sure, we haven't worked all that out yet. But if that'd be something you'd be interested in, also let me know that. Or Doug. Maybe the guild can get together and do an event just as the guild after a meeting or something like that. So, okay. Any questions? I'll be back there. All right. Thank you. No, we really don't. We're going to make this a year, not just an annual event. We want to run it through periodically throughout the year. So, as far as you taking stuff home, take it home, bring it back when it's finished. I'm just going to record what's out there so we know what's coming back. And what I will probably do, depending on how many pieces we get turned, I may send them back before the actual Turning for Troops event. But, there's no set times that I have to have X amount of pieces back to corporate at any given time. So it's just kind of a loosely formatted, ongoing thing. Okay? All right. Any questions? I'll be back there at the break. Okay? Thank you.
All right. Last month, we handed out our Ron Den Broder Award. We did it at the very end of the meeting. It was kind of like on the fly, really fast, and I don't know if everybody caught it. But our 2 winners were Tom Sampson and John Barron. John's here. I didn't see Tom, but we just want to give them a hand for winning the Ron Den Broder Award. Next year, we will do it again next December, I believe, unless we decide to change that up. But that'll be a December event. I think that's everything. Am I missing anything? Anybody think of something I'm missing here? Then we're going to go into show and tell. If you want to grab your piece, come around this side. I think somebody's going to give you a ticket for the raffle table. And then you can set your piece on the table here. You can look in the monitor here and see how we all see it. And then walk back up the middle when you're done. So, and state your name into the microphone. You don't have to get right up on that microphone. Just stand back up, a hand's width.
If you're online,
yeah.
if you're online, click the react button and raise your hand so we know that you have something to show.
Okay.
Okay, I'm Dave Curley. Had a friend of mine ask me to make a yarn bowl. She wanted something a little bigger than normal yarn bowls and a little taller and something that narrowed at the top so the skein wouldn't pop out when she pulled on it. So that's what I made for her. This is sassafras, and it was fun making it. I make a lot of these, but yeah, I just got basically 50-50 shellac, sander sealer as a base, and then Mahoney's oil on top of that. So I generally use 2 Forstner bits to cut circles and a coping saw, and it always, yes, and then I use sometimes Dremel bits to get things smooth, but mostly sandpaper, and it's a long process. You know, Doug and I had a conversation about that yesterday. But I always kind of make mine look like what I call a bird's beak, and sometimes I even embellish them that way. But yeah, so that's it. I hope she's happy with it. She liked the pictures so far. So I just walk out in my yard. Oh, I like working with it, but I like texture, and and if you feel this bowl, there's texture there. So especially if you put your hand inside. So getting inside was a little bit tough to get it as smooth as I wanted it to, but I brought in not a wire brush, but one of those 3M sanding discs, and it worked just like a wire brush. You can actually feel the grain inside. So I just did a yarn test to make sure nothing caught anywhere, and it seems to work fine. So, all right, thanks.
Hi, I'm Gary Humphreys. As they announced, I'm on the board. You know, young people, I was here a few months. They needed someone. I said, I'll do it. So I'm the one to see if you're interested in membership. This is a retirement hobby for me. This is now my 3rd year, and I've enjoyed this group very much. You'll find that these are really a nice, friendly group of people, and the expertise goes from outstandingly artistic, wonderful expertise to beginners. And I was a beginner. I'm learning more and more, but almost every month I share my journey from just enjoying wood. There are so many grains, colors, smells, and I won't rehash all the things I've done from learning. Well, at first you just are focusing on turning, and then you have, that's just an incidental edge on it. I should think about a planned edge, etc. So my point for today, through Tom Penninga, who's not here today, he had access to a lot of very nice old dry black walnut ends and offered anyone in the group to come by and pick some up, and I did. These are both made out of the same wood, but I varied the finish and wanted to share what the difference is between polyurethane and an oil finish. That the polyurethane has a lot more luster, and in essence it's plastic coated for use, and it is food safe. And this one is just a plain, I bought the hemp oil here, a plain oil finish, and just the difference in what it does to the grain. Very nice feel to it, and this is food safe also. So mostly brought them, they're essentially the same bowl, but 2 different finishes to demonstrate the difference there.
Good morning. I'm Carl Hansen. I originally turned this lidded box in 2022. Wednesday, 3 days ago, I pulled it out from where it's been hidden for the last 3 years and said, that is really ugly. So I remounted the base and the lid and rejiggered it. So the message is simply, you might change your mind, make sure you have an off-ramp to be able to remount it in the future when you change your mind. You just say, ooh, that is ugly. In last month's issue of Woodturner magazine, in the members forum, I think, they have random photographs of different people. And I saw somebody who had another lidded box of this rough form, and I said, that is really nice. So this is my my inspiration for that. I don't know what this is. I don't know if it's beech or spalted something. So if someone knows what this is, let me know. Again, last month on the bench, someone had a square platter, and I said, well, I haven't turned a square platter in a while, and I had a nice piece of curly maple. So whoever did that, you were my inspiration. Thank you.
Well, good morning, everyone. I'm Frank Abissi, and this month I brought in one of the pens that I made, but this one turned out a little bit different than any other pen. First of all, I didn't want to have to put much into it. So I got a piece of Bethlehem olive wood, and the funny thing about the wood is that when I turned it over, it gave it a different reflection. So, like, if you look at it, you'll see two different pieces of wood, it seems like, just by turning it every which way. So, that was one thing about it. Then I got this bright idea. Okay. Then, as another little thing I did different, my wife a year and a half ago gave me a gift card to Woodcraft. And the card was used up. It just so happened I never threw it out. So suddenly a flash of something came across my brain, and the stripes that you see here are Woodcraft gift cards. So I got every penny I could out of that gift card. So thank you very much.
My name's Terry Leifers. Been part of a Bible study on Friday afternoons for several years, and we recently decided to start serving communion at the Bible study. So Wednesday I quickly turned up a chalice. We used it Friday, and if anybody would be interested in joining the Bible study, see me afterwards. That's about all I got. Got a little wine stain in the bottom already.
I'm Pete Vandermeer. I'm the treasurer. I did a demo a few months back on doing inlays with what I think of as really neat iridescent abalone shells. And I was talking about what I was trying to do to really get long-term UV protection, because I was embedding the pieces in epoxy. And at the time I was saying that I was just investigating working with some UV resin, which is ultraviolet cured, and would then be a good barrier layer on top. And I mentioned that I hadn't been really sure how good I'd have it for adhesion between the two layers. This is a fail, and it's an example of you really do need to make sure that you clean off on the top of epoxy layers before you put anything else on, or the two layers will separate and leave you, I don't know if you can pick up, but yeah, you have to look at it carefully, but the layers are delaminating. And so the answer is, don't feel bad when you fail. It's okay.
Hi. Oop. I'm John Barron, and I was walking out the meeting here last month, and they had that big bin of cutoffs that I can't resist looking at, but I'm walking by and I saw the crotch area in this, and has some pretty stunning lines in it, and I was going to just cut one side and make the bowl out of just one side. And then I didn't want to lose this area here. That was the best part of the grain. So I turned it like that. It was square. It was a rectangle at first, and I still wasn't quite happy with it. And I taped off the ends. I rounded, I taped off the ends to see what it would look like if I rounded it out. I actually liked it better, so that's what I wound up doing to it. And the finish is just Mahoney's walnut oil.
Dan Quick. I saw this on the Tiny Turner from YouTube. Just a snowman. I know snowman season's over, but I thought I'd bring it in something different. I also brought a glass bulb and the lights on the raffle ticket. So if somebody wants to try making their own, it's just maple, and I don't know what the wood on this hat was, and a chunk of log I found out in the yard, and put some not CA or epoxy on it. I'm not sure which I used, but my sparkling snowman.
What? Your snowman's way better. What is that in the middle?
What was the question?
It was somebody online talking.
Oh, okay.
So is that a light? Is that turn
Yes, it's just they call them fairy lights.
Does it turn on?
Yeah, the samples of it is over on the table.
So the batteries run down through the center.
Yes, yep, and on the bottom is
Where do you get these lights?
just Amazon. The same with the glass bulb. I bought that on Amazon. But Tiny Turner, you can buy them through her.
Before I did that. That may not even be fresh damage. I didn't have anything to take in that was recent, and last evening I looked around in a bunch of shelves in the house, and this is all old stuff. The only one that's dated is 1990, and I think that's the newest one of the lot. I think it's kind of good sometimes to look back and see where you were, and yeah, it's good to see where you've been and hopefully where you're going.
Open up that little box. That's right there. Yeah. And what's that?
This, not a turning. It's just a little burrow bandsaw box. Probably about $1 worth at the time. The other's walnut. I had a kick out of this thing. I actually made one of these that was about 3 feet long sometime around the same time. But that's a bits and pieces of the last 40 years.
It's not the first bowl I ever dropped either.
Well, my name is Rich, and I got a nice, big, beautiful lathe a while back, and I have not been playing with it. And you know, usually when you get something new, that's all you can think about. But so I got to turn something. And I think, like John, I think this walnut came from the bin box over here by the cash register. Anyway, these are two just simple bowls. Interesting grain. I loved working with it. But I kind of have a question for you all. If you have a good answer, talk to me. Can you come in on this? Does that show? It's hard to get a nice flat surface, both inside and outside. The dips and of course you don't see it until you put the finish on. And I had the same kind of frustration with it. Turned out nice on the back, but if you look at it in the light just right, it just get a little, I mean, you got to look for it, but it's there. So if you all have any ways that you get around that, I'd love to learn about it. Anyway, that's it.
Well, okay. I want to make sure you can hear me, so I couldn't hear everybody. I'm Leonard Bosma. I've been a club member for 3 years. I'm not at every meeting. Sometimes I'm online. I'm from the Kalamazoo area. I have 2 vases today to show you. The first one is, I call it a globe vase, kind of resembles a globe to me. I constructed this by taking a log, cutting through the pith, which is important, making 2 bowls, leaving tenons on the end, letting them dry for 3 months, coming back, doing the insides and the edges, gluing it together, and it's important to try to get through the pith because you want it to line up, and I think you can see that, right? Once you do that, then both ends have tenons. You punch through the end you want. In this case, I have an acorn effect. If you did it the other way, it would be a more traditional effect, I think. Then turn the outside. Finish is a first coat of Danish oil followed by a hard wax oil. It's a hard maple. Any other questions? Back to. I said I had 2 vases. I call this a square or rectangle vase. This is cherry. I ran this, it was a log milled, dried for 2-3 years, ran it through a planer, got it flat. Then used my chop saw and got 2 pieces that were relatively even. I put it between the tailstock and the head and turned it and put mortises on each end. I put the mortises in my chuck and hollowed the inside. I put it together and it was uneven, so I ran it through my planer again. I then cut the ends off, ultimately putting them on the bottom for legs, and turned and then punched through to create a vase. On the mortises, I did some dry painting, which I'm not happy with exactly, but that's how that finished. Remember, these are two pieces put together. The real key was making them flat so that the edge along there is a line and it's not uneven. So it is hollowed in the thing. I know people, if you have a long finger, you can put it in there and you'll find it's hollowed. Thank you.
Okay, I think we're going to go online now to Dave.
All right, hi everyone. I'm Dave Bungie in Midland. A few months ago, Tom Penninga demonstrated a three-legged stool, and I wanted to make one of those for my wife to use as a plant stand. So here's a picture of what I came up with. This is maple, about 11 inches tall, about 11 inches in diameter. I did go through a little bit of, oops, wrong way. Hold on. A few, went through a few iterations to get to the final version. So Tom demonstrated turning a 15-degree flat area on the underside of the stool. Then you drill a hole in it for the tenon on your leg. My first pass, I decided the legs were too close to the outside, so I wanted to move them inside further. The challenge was that my flat spot didn't extend far enough to really put them where I wanted. But somebody in the meeting had suggested if you drill a real shallow hole the same diameter as the leg, that that could serve as the flat for the shoulder of the leg. So I did that, and turned out pretty well. Then where it was going in our house, the white of the maple was not really what my wife had in mind. So I got some milk paint out, some acrylic paints, and this is the final product. And then here it is in its final location. And that's it. That's what I have.
Anybody else online? Okay, I think we are going to take a 15-minute break, and then we'll do our demonstration with Pete's three-sided tool handle that he's going to maybe make a parting tool with or something, or maybe we'll see. All right, so take a 15-minute break, and we'll be right back.